In this video we look at an interesting trap in the Scottish game. This trap is notable because it has a very high win rate. At a level even below 1800, about 70% of players lose. It works especially well in games with a shortened time limit. So, here the opponent usually expects to capture the d4 pawn or develop the bishop on c4, but no, we play knight g5. It turns out that this move contains an incredibly effective trap. Most players here answer h6, instinctively driving away the knight. We'll look at other answers later. And here white completely unexpectedly responds with the knight taking f7. It is, of course, impossible not to accept this sacrifice. The king takes f7. A developing check follows, bishop c4. And here the overwhelming number of players for black respond with an absolutely losing move, king e8. It becomes clear that the move pawn h6 greatly weakened the diagonal h5 e8. Queen h5 check. There is no defensive move pawn g6 and the king is forced to flee, king e7. The king is forced to go on a journey on foot, king d6. Now the bishop connects with check, bishop f4. Here black has two options. Either close with the knight, knight e5, then queen d5 checks, king e7, and the queen takes e5, check and mate. Or continue your journey, king c5. Then queen d5 is check, and the next move is queen b5 checkmate. Let's look at three other continuations. King e7. In this variant, the king risks remaining in the center, while blocking the development of his queen and bishop. And black needs to play very accurately to neutralize white's positional advantage. For example, Variation with closing with a pawn. Pawn d5. This kind of game with the king in the center for black is not very easy to play. And finally, the last and best option for black is the king g6. At first glance, it is dangerous. But it turns out that white only has a few checks and that's it. Nothing more. There are no attack options, no compensation for the sacrificed piece. Therefore, we can consider the move with the king on g6 to be a refutation of this trap. If black does not play on the fourth move h6, but, for example, plays knight f6, then, bishop c4. Knight e5 and we have the Ponziani opening and Scottish Gambit on the board. The move bishop e7 is quite logical. It is developing and involves an attack on the knight. Knight takes f7, king takes f7, bishop c4 check, king e8, queen h5 check. Since the pawn is on h7, black can now defend, pawn g6. But again, after queen d5, they have difficulty defending against checkmate. Especially if the amount of time to think about it is small. And here the only correct move for black would be bishop b4 check. Let's see how it could be. As we can see, with proper preparation or a lot of time to think, you can refute this trap. At the same time, as I already said, according to statistics, about 70% of players lose in this variation. Especially if blitz is played or the opponent's rating is below about 1800. If you like the review, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, write a comment and like it.